Hey everyone, Jim T. Graham with RCGroups.com. We're here with Mike Mayberry from Hitec. What's happening, Mike?
Hey, Jim. Happy to be here. How are you?
You missed, Mike didn't miss, but all of you out there missed the pre-meeting we just had when we came up with the concept of giving away hats. In my mind, we gave away a few hats, but Mike's mind gave away many hats. And so since we had a nice response to questions, we're going to give away a hat to everyone who asked a question in the thread. This means that the thread is, we're not going to close the thread, but the contest for hats is officially over after we finish this video. And so I'm going to flash onto the thread itself. These are the lovely hats. Now, Mike, I want to say up front, somebody asked, can I just buy a hat? When will these be available?
They will be soon. So we're actually getting all of the 50-year swag together so that we can be able to ship it out. So we had to fold some shirts and get everything kind of bagged and tagged. These will go up on the Weekender Warehouse website, which is kind of a spinoff of the Hitec website where we sell stuff. Where you can get parts and stuff like that. In fact, if you've never been to Weekender Warehouse, go check it out because you can buy a lot of stuff there, including maybe gear sets or case sets that you can't find at your local hobby shop, multiplex spare parts and stuff like that. So we will put them up there. They'll be available for sale. And but yeah, I'm happy to and thank you guys for participating. So there was some good questions, some funny questions, and I think we should answer them all, and everybody gets a hat.
So what do you think, Mike? Should we show the questions as we answer them?
Yeah, I think let's just do that. Let's just go down the list here, and some of them maybe we can kind of group together because it's some similar ones. So this first question here is Hitec planning on manufacturing the Optima receivers again? Unfortunately, we got caught out with the chip shortage on those receivers. We were planning to continue the receivers. We have discontinued the radios, so we are no longer making radios. We have no plans to make radios in the future. There's a picture of a prototype radio in there that unfortunately is not going to make it to market. And if we could have continued with the Optima receivers, we would have, but the chip shortage was really a big thing. In fact, it affected us in many ways, servos as well. So unfortunately, no receivers anymore. There are still Maxima receivers available. You can buy through Weekender Warehouse, the 6 and the 9 channel. The Maximas will only work with the Aurora 9X and the Flash Series radio, and they do require digital servos with no telemetry, but those are still available, and those are the only receivers that we currently have available. So there's a good one here. What differentiates Hitec, to compel people to purchase Hitec instead of another competitor? The big thing about Hitec is, you see behind me here, this side, we've been in business for 50 years. We know the servo industry inside and out. We are the largest manufacturer of servos worldwide. And it's even just a small percentage of our business is the RC side of things. But Hitec has the customer support. We have a 2-year warranty, and even outside that 2-year warranty, if you've ever sent anything back to Hitec, most times we will not charge you. Sometimes we do, we need to, it's just, part of the business. But if we can take care of something without charging you and get it back in your hands working the way it should, then we're going to do it. So anytime you're buying a Hitec product, that you have confidence in the product, you have confidence in the support, and the product speaks for itself. We have all different levels of components. And I always tell people, match the level of component to the level of model. So when you're, got a big airplane, you need to spend a little extra money.
Right.
I always say coreless motor, brushless motor, in the larger planes, the race cars, stuff like that. But, you can get away with something like a 645 or, a digital 645 in more of the sport level stuff. So why do you want to buy a Hitec product? It's because we have excellent product. We have great support, and you know, you can always talk to me if you need any help. What do we got? Remote ID is not going to happen. Obviously, we're not in that business anymore. And then there's down below is that the picture of that radio. In fact, I even pulled it out. I don't know what I did with it. It's sitting right here. So
wow.
unfortunately, this radio here is not going to come to market. But it was something that we did have plans to do. It's just the business side of things didn't allow it to happen, unfortunately. So sorry about that. But
It's
it
like
was a cool looking
pulling
radio.
a Porsche out from underneath your desk.
What's that?
It's like pulling a Porsche out from underneath your desk.
It is, man. Okay. So my favorite dinosaur. Okay. So this is I actually had to look this up. Okay. So my favorite dinosaur is the Hadrosaurus. Okay. The Hadrosaurus in Star Trek Voyager actually developed into a space-going creature, and they met up with them in the 24th century. So evidently, you know, the dinosaurs left Earth before the big extinction, and they're thriving somewhere out in the universe.
Awesome.
And you can tell I'm a big Star Trek fan. All right. Sub 4 gram servo. The problem with the little tiny servos is that the potentiometers, in fact, we had a really small servo, the HS35 and the 5035. The potentiometer was a huge deal. Hitec will not build a servo that's not going to last. We're just not going to make a servo that doesn't meet our standards. So those ultra small servos, you're not going to get, you know, out of any of the servos that are out there, you're not going to get 2 years out of it. So we can't build a product that's just not going to last, and we'll have to replace it, you know, every year. So unfortunately, we probably won't see a sub 4 gram servo because of the level of components just aren't there to support the level of product that we need to build.
Okay. Car question.
So this is a good one. Carpet racer. So he's talking about the RDX2 1000 and the combo, and it has a 1 cell. So what type of racing makes a difference with these? Obviously and you know, airplane guys aren't familiar with this. The car guys get a little bit crazy when it comes to charging batteries. And what they'll do, and again, is why we developed this charger, is that they'll charge at a very high rate. They'll discharge at a high rate, and then they'll charge it back up. And that breaks down the internal resistance in the battery, and it also warms it up. I don't agree with necessarily warming up the battery just with like a warmer, although warmer LiPo batteries do have less resistance. But there's regulations in the car racing, at least on the national level, that they can't be a certain degree over ambient temperature. So, but discharging and discharging at the high rates give you more power, and that would be good for stock class racing. As far as the degradation of the battery over time, most likely it's not going to live as long, but most of the time, you know, it's going to get you by for however long you need the battery to last for. It doesn't necessarily, you know, destroy the battery, but over time, I would think that the battery would probably not perform as well. But that's the case with most batteries anyway. So,
and I have a new idea. I'm going to read the question for you.
All right.
If Skynet, this is from Chris Kerr 79. If Skynet were to become self-aware, would Hitec servos help destroy John Connor by being the ultimate servo powering the Terminator, or would they choose to keep John Connor safe? So this is an AI intelligence question.
Yeah.
And which side your servos will take?
I guess it depends on which, you know, where we're at. But I would like to save John Connor. I mean, he seemed like he was the good guy. So, you know, but then Arnold was the good guy, you know, too. So that was the T1. You know, he turned into the good guy, right? So let's save John Connor.
It's hard to say who's a good guy anymore, I guess. and time variable. This is from Yes, this is 2 posts. That's good. Arma 581. No, that's not a question.
Not a question.
Okay,
He was answering the
RRG.
question. Just buy more servos. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, just buy more. That
Yeah.
could be your new slogan for 2023. Hitec. RRG. Will my Hitec D845 WP servo be okay after a few days in the bottom of a pond? Great question.
Depends how deep the pond is. So the servos are rated for IP67, which means that at 1 meter, it should be water resistant or waterproof. So if your pond is only 3 feet deep, then it probably going to be okay. If it's deeper than that and it's sat for a long time, we'll see.
All right. This is a great question. This is from Twin Warbird Flyer. Who cut your hair? Who does cut your hair? I'll say the last video we did, I thought, Mike's hair, I wear cowboy hats, but you don't have to because you have hair that is cool as any cowboy hat. So where does this come from?
That's a good question. Well, actually, first of all, I would like to thank my sponsors, Vidal Sassoon. That was I actually cut my own hair. During the pandemic, that nobody would cut my hair, so I had to cut my own hair, and I'm like, I'm going to save the money, and so I cut my own hair.
And what kind of gel do you use to get it go up?
The Vidal Sassoon mousse and hairspray, and the Conair 1800. I couldn't get by with my Conair 1800.
I'm going to throw in a sidebar here. My uncle was a full-scale pilot. He had an air hangar in the middle of Sadler, Texas. And as a little kid, my dad would drop me off on the weekends and he would take me flying, which is probably where my love of flying came from. But the connection here is he went to France in the, I guess, early 70s and studied under Vidal Sassoon himself. Came back to our little town and became a barber. Seems highly overqualified, if you ask me.
Well, that's cool.
Okay. Next from JC Moores. If I were to run a Hitec bi-4 charger in the field from a generator, and this is tricky because you need a clean generator, I think, but you can tell us that. How many watts should my generator be able to supply in order to efficiently charge several 6S batteries?
Well, so the generator is just going to put out AC power. So the charger itself is 200 watts. So on AC power, it's 300 watts on DC power. So 200 watts is all you need, and that's not a lot. So it's not a really power hungry charger. So, but with the X4, I think that was what it was the X4
Yes.
Pro. So your best bet with the X4 Pro would be to skew the wattage to 100 watts on 2 of the ports, so that you can get about a 4.5 amp charge rate. So for those that don't know, amps or watts is amps times volts. So when you have a certain amount of wattage, if you divide it by the voltage, you'll get the maximum amperage that you would be able to charge.
And it doesn't care if it's clean or dirty. Some generators create a clean output and some create a dirty output.
It's AC power. So AC power should be, it's alternating current. It should be fine. I haven't had any problem plugging in anything to a generator really ever.
Okay. The next question is from Green Bronco Flyer. Are hats available for purchase if your question is not chosen? So we did answer this, that these will be available. And I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the where they will be available in the description of the video and in my feature article.
Yeah, so we'll have the hats. We'll have shirts. We have kids' shirts. We have women's shirts, and we have 2 styles of hoodies in a zip up or a pullover. So those will be on the website probably next week, available for sale. Awesome. With the 50-year logo like you see behind me.
Next week. Quinny Perks asks, from Ohio. Will you ever come out with any servo suitable for indoor pattern or F3P? Is this one that we sort of already answered?
It's the same deal. Is that the servos at that size? We just, in fact, the reason why we discontinued the 35 was because we couldn't get the pots anymore for them. We just can't find a suitable potentiometer in that level of servo that meets our standards.
Got it. NC Sky from North Carolina says a club member has a Multiplex Parkmaster Pro, which is an excellent plane. Is Hitec going to introduce more larger size planes like this again? Great question.
So, well, that's Multiplex actually, and the owner of Hitec does own Multiplex. Hitec USA used to import the Multiplex product line. We no longer do, but there is a new importer. So if you go to MRMPX Hobbies, like Mr. Multiplex Hobbies.com, you can buy all of the latest and greatest Multiplex products.
And with that, I'll say that I will include that in the links below. He is also a sponsor of RC Groups. Big thanks. So you can find him on our sponsor list, and his ads bounce around RC Groups as well. I'll let him know that we spoke of him. Next question from Corsair Pilot from Fairbanks, Alaska. What exactly is the C rating of a battery? Why is it important?
So the C rating of a battery can be subjective sometimes because it's some manufacturers will put a rating on there that's probably not as accurate as it could be. But the C rating means how many amps the battery can produce or can handle sustained load without significant voltage drop. So if you have a 100C battery and it's a 5,000 milliamps, it's supposed to be able to handle 500 amps. In 100C is a lot of power. So in the back early on, the LiPo batteries were only like 2 and 3 and 4C. And then we got to 10C and we're like, wow, this is great. And then the higher the C rating, the better the battery can handle higher discharge rates.
If Got it. I really think we should answer the phone once every video session.
I don't think so. They're going to ask if I need to have, what our shipping methods are, and if they can. That's my phone call every other time. It seems like now it's wanting us to get a different shipping company.
I'm sure you didn't see this, but at Toledo, I put the whole film crew in an elevator. And so we would wait patiently until the doors open. And when somebody would walk in the elevator, I would instantly start my live interview, which is tricky. Most of them went right. Only one went wrong, where the guy really did not want to be interviewed in the elevator at that time. But
yeah,
just a thought.
Oh, well.
Okay, back to the questions.
All right.
Cessna 182VF from North Carolina. Say, Mike, can I get 2 receivers checked? Optima 7 and 9 not working. Wow, that picture of the Flash 12 would have been nice. I want a Hitec hat.
Okay.
Sincerely,
right.
Winston Brown.
All right, Winston, you can definitely get a hat. You can send any Hitec product in for us to take a look at. Like I said, we don't have the receivers to replace them with, but it could be that something could be repaired. You never know. But and I'll put this as anything, any Hitec product you have, regardless of how old it is, you can always send it in.
There you go. Stephen Barbois, and he's not from anywhere. It's 2 posts on the site, which is cool. I purchased a group of I've not read these to this point now, so I have no idea what I'm saying, Mike. I'm just reading. I purchased a group of Hitec servos a few years back, and project went on hold. Well, I started back at the end of the group of. Okay, I'm going to start over.
I read this question. The same answer applies to the last one from Winston. Okay. It's send it in.
Send it in.
We always say one word, send it in. It's just get it to us. We'll take a look at it. We'll figure out what's going on, and we'll take care of it. If it's not repairable, uneconomical to repair, we'll contact you with a quote. We'll give you some options. Maybe let you buy, a newer one at a discounted price if it's, and then we would hold yours. What we do that on occasion where we could maybe use the gear set out of it or something like that. So we give you a little bit of a break on a new one, and to help you out. But if it's something we can repair, we'll repair it. If it's not, we'll let you know what we can do.
All right. Reiterating why you should buy from Hitec. Eagle 434 from Oregon, so far away. My Hitec dual ports charger. Just curious. I've also enjoyed being welcome when this is a great question. When I start the charging process and when finished, battery fully charged, is the lovely lady just generic? Okay. Is the lovely lady just generic, a Hitec employee, or Alexi's sister?
I think Alexa's sister. Not exactly sure how. I think it's just all electronically generated voices, but yeah, there's no actual recordings in it.
Okay, can I tell a side story on this?
Yeah.
I too love ESCs, which play songs and do things like that. I really don't think people have utilized the ability to make an ESC do funny things. This is not related to ESC. You remember the Telemaster box from the old days, and there was a girl laying in a field next to a built Telemaster. She had a crop top.
I do actually.
It was obviously the 60s, maybe the early 70s. Well, I saw that picture a lot. I don't know why, but I worked for Hobby Lobby, and I was in the stocking section where all those Telemasters lived with the original label. So there's a huge stack of them in front of me. There's the lady on the label. And then the owner of Hobby Lobby walked up to me and was talking to me, and she's standing right next to the label. And then my brain put it together. That girl from the 60s was the lady that was talking to me at this very moment.
Really?
And I said, "Is this you?" And her face turned bright red. And she said, "Don't you tell anyone." And she ran away. So that was pretty weird and RC related.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Joanne was her name. Fakosk 8 from the Deutschland says flap servo recommendation for Trojan T28 1.1
meters.
Are digital needed?
Well, so the flap servos, with the load on the flap, so digital servos, with the big advantage to digital servos is that they have more holding torque. So if you take an analog servo and you push against it, you can kind of defeat it, even the high torque ones. The digital servos, they're glued, they're solid. So flap servos, and again, it kind of goes really to any control surface as well. The digital servos are going to have more holding torque. They're going to push through the air better. They're going to be more responsive. So are they needed? Not necessarily, but you have to look at, the level of model again. And that's a sport model. You could probably get away 1.1 meters, not a huge plane. It's actually a pretty small plane. So no, not necessarily needed, but digital servos will always perform better than analog servos. One other question that I'll pose is that, do they draw more current? It's a question that's asked a lot, and they do draw slightly more current, but not a significant amount to really worry about it.
At some point, I think I just went digital everything and never turned back. So
well, what's interesting is that there's not a lot of companies that manufacture analog servos anymore. Right. It's not profitable. You got to make a lot of servos to make it worth it. So if you look, you'll find that Hitec is really kind of one of the only manufacturers now where you can still buy analog servos.
Got it. That is our last question, and I'm going to take this moment to talk to everyone whose questions we answered. I'm going to post in the thread, hey, if you answered a question to this point, shoot me a PM with your full name, address, and phone number. All of that's important to be able to get a hat to you. I'm then going to send these off to Mike, who will take care of the shipping process. No more hats can be won in this thread, although questions can still be answered. I'm not going to close the thread. It will still live in this section. So feel free to ask those questions. We're thinking about other things we can do in the future. Mike and I have also been talking about future video ideas. The next video interaction that we have should be very interesting. We're bringing in a guest, and I've thought about another guest we might have, Mike.
Okay.
Not for the stories, but for another video concept. So just hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. So awesome. It's the weekend, Mike. I hate to delve into your personal life. Anything fun occurring?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been raining so much here. I think the weather's supposed to be nice. So, and there's been a lot of snow. So I think we're going to maybe take a road trip out and up to the snow and hopefully it's not too crowded, but, yeah, San Diego area, we got a lot of snow in the mountains now. And it's always nice, to get out there and just take a little road trip.
Awesome. I've got a high school friend coming in that I haven't seen in a long time, and we're going to eat dinner. And then I also I'm in a band now. I don't know if I'm sure I haven't told you that. I'm in a band, and so I've got band rehearsal on Saturday, which should be cool.
All right. Well, I figured you've always been in a band. I mean, you're always playing the guitar there, and figured you probably at least strumming with some of your buds.
You would think so. I play, well, we don't want to get down this rabbit hole. I played an album, so I'll pick an album and then I'll play guitar as if I was in the band, and I've been doing it for years. I do it once a day.
Okay.
When I get tired of an album, I pick a new album and I play that album for a month or two, and then I just keep doing it. So being in a band, I've actually been practicing for, a decade since my last band. One day we'll talk about the band I was in Hollywood when I almost had a record label deal and was almost made famous, but
almost
I dodged
famous.
the bullet. Yeah, exactly. All right, everyone, we've completely gone off the trail. Yep. We've answered all your questions. Mike's taken time, and we sure appreciate you coming and joining us on the channel. So
yes, thank you everybody for all the questions and interaction. Happy to help, and like I said, go check out our websites and give us a call if you need any help.
All right, this is going live today, so be sure and contact me if you want a hat. You have 7 days to check in and say, yes, I want my hat. After 7 days, the offer is over. So that's it. I'm Jim T. Graham with RC Groups and Mike Mayberry with Hitec. Hey to everyone at Hitec, Mike.
All right, will do.
Bye-bye.